The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
First at 6, a man is dead after he fired a gun at a KSAT news crew, his own family, and then San Antonio police officers who returned fire, killing him in the backyard of a near West Side home.
This wild sequence of events taking place in the 200 and 300 block of Noria starting at 11 a.m. We are so thankful our photographer Joshua Saunders and reporter Dylan Collier were not harmed in that shooting.
Dylan joins us now live from that scene with an account of what happened. Dylan?
And Tim and Courtney, we still don't know if this man was firing shots at my photographer and I or at his own family. What we do know is that emergency personnel had been to this home several times the last few days, beginning Saturday after hearing reports of this same man firing a gun in the backyard of that home. Emergency personnel were back here early Monday morning this morning for a fire that ripped through this house in the 200 block, gutting it. And that's what brought us to the scene around 11 a.m. to see if there was any sort of follow-up story to a fire that had been labeled by the fire department suspicious. We interviewed a family member, a woman who recounted living in the home growing up and that it had been in their family for several generations. It was at this point that the man, who she identified as her nephew, came out with 2 handguns and began firing one of those handguns. He fired a couple of shots. We scattered in all directions. He fired several more shots. We then called 911. That suspect then got on a bicycle, headed 1 block to the west, jumped an iron gate, and then went into a home now in the 300 block of Noria. San Antonio police surrounded that home. At some point, the man went out of the home into a shed in the backyard, and from there, we'll let Chief William McManus explain what happened.
At some point, he went out the back door and into a shed that was out there. The shed was air conditioned. There was actually 2 sheds there, and he was in and out of both of them, as far as we know. The officers decided to try and lock him out of the house at that point. He saw them at the screen door. He started shooting at them. 5 officers returned fire, and he is deceased in the backyard right now.
San Antonio police have not said how long this standoff was. It could have been anywhere from an hour to several hours. We were updated around 4:30, so at the very most, this was about a 4-hour standoff, likely shorter than that. San Antonio police have not identified the suspect. Several people that were in that home were known to the suspect, the one in the 300 block of Noria. They were able to get out without being harmed. Reporting live on the near west side, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Taking a live look outside with live cam tonight. The rain showers moving in, Adam.
Yeah, they are actually.
All right now, mainly on the west and north sides of town. You zoom in here and you see this green outline, northern Bexar County, northern side of San Antonio. That's a new flash flood warning that expires at 9 p.m. So in effect until 9 p.m. as we've already seen about 2 to 3 inches of rain in this part of town, with an additional 1 to 2 possible as this continues to drift southward and develop southward. I'll put it into motion for you. Here's the heaviest of the rain developing over the past couple of hours, moving into the 1604 area, north side and west side of town, now spreading down into the SeaWorld area and all, of course, surrounding neighborhoods there. This is mainly drifting southward and developing on the west side of town, but we're seeing some activity east side as well, especially around Windcrest, but that's mostly coming to an end there. This has some very heavy rainfall with it, so if you're planning on heading out on the roadways, just give this some time to dissipate. Give it a few more hours if you can. It'll slowly break apart from the north to the south as it pushes southward. Otherwise, you head toward Medina Lake, that reservoir, getting some heavy rainfall stretching up into Bandera County, city of Kerrville, some heavy rainfall and even a new flash flood warning that's just west of Kerrville. That is in effect until 8:30 p.m. You see this green polygon pop up on the screen there. So heavy rainfall ongoing, not for everybody. Could actually have some sunshine, Floresville and Elmendorf. Meanwhile, the heavy rainfall west and north side of town. We're going to talk more about this, how much has fallen, how hard it's following, analyze it a little bit more, and talk about our rain chances for the next several days as well. More opportunities to come. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Leading today's top stories, another shooting, this one behind a north side nail salon, ending with one person dead. Officers were called to a strip mall off Blanco Road for a disturbance at that nail salon. Police say that led to a 42-year-old man shooting the victim, a 46-year-old. It is still unclear what led up to that argument, but the suspect took off from the scene. Police were able to find him and take him into custody near Loop 410 and Blanco.
San Antonio police are investigating what sounds like fireworks of a different kind outside a Northwest Side bar overnight, a shootout between security guards and someone in a car. A man in that car was hit by the gunfire. It happened near Loop 1604 in Lock Hill, Selma. But as Katrina Weber reports, they caught up with the driver at a different location.
Along a Northwest Side highway, San Antonio police caught up with a man around 2:30 this morning who they say not only may have caused a lot of trouble, but was in trouble himself. They found him on Loop 1604 near Interstate 10 in a car that had been riddled with bullets, suffering from gunshot wounds. Police believe he was on the run after the trouble nearby. They say security guards at the Burnhouse nightclub told them they had gotten into a shootout with people in that car. Daylight showed crime scene tape and skid marks still in the parking lot. Police say the driver hit one of the guards with the car, and a gunshot hit another guard in his bulletproof vest. The car then crashed into another vehicle on the highway before stopping. Police detained two other people in the car with the wounded man. San Antonio police say the security officers were treated at the scene for their injuries, but they say none of their officers suffered any injuries or fired any shots. They're still trying to sort out who in the car will face charges. Reporting from Public Safety Headquarters, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. We're learning new details today about that car that crashed into a popular St. Mary's Strip restaurant. San Antonio police say two men inside that car were uncooperative at the scene. The incident happened around 2 a.m. Sunday at Sings. Officers say the car was speeding when the driver allegedly drove through a stop sign and plowed into the restaurant. The two men inside have been identified as 26-year-old Joey Rodriguez and Jesus Lozoya. Rodriguez, the suspected driver, was taken to the hospital where police say hospital staff found drugs on him. He's expected to face charges of driving while intoxicated. Lozoya was treated at the scene and arrested for public intoxication.
In response to shelters and food pantries that closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic last year, the city partnered with different organizations and set up resource hubs to help the homeless community.
They served thousands of meals and helped guide people to different services. And now, downtown's homeless resource hub at the San Fernando Gym will be moving to another location.
Tiffany Huertas reports on what started as an immediate COVID response to assist the homeless, now moving to a more long-term initiative.
Sunday was actually our last day there, and today's our first day here with Corazon.
The city's downtown resource hub is moving to the new Corazon Day Center and Resource Hub. It will be located at 504 Avenue E on the campus of Grace Lutheran Church.
I'm so excited.
Marjorie White, the homeless administrator for the City of San Antonio's Department of Human Services, is excited about this transition.
The city as an entity can't address homelessness by ourselves. And the fact that community partners such as Corazon San Antonio has stepped up to take this on more long-term, that's what it's about.
Corazon San Antonio was founded in 1999 and provides different resources to the community.
We had a day center from 1999 to 2008, very similar to what we are reopening today. That closed when Haven for Hope opened because they wanted to consolidate all services into one location.
At this resource hub, they will be providing meals, access to showers, and case managers will be available.
Like case management for street outreach, so if people need to receive ID recovery or access to different various forms of transitional housing.
We know folks are going to come in for food. That's an opportunity for engagement. That's an opportunity to assess their needs, talk to them, build rapport, build trust, figure out what are their goals and how we can help them achieve it.
That was Tiffany Huertas reporting. That new facility will be open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Thursday will be the grand opening.
To some traffic news now. TxDOT is set to begin work today on a major project to redesign the Loop 410 and I-10 interchange over on the east side. The work aims to clear a major bottleneck for drivers over there. Crews will construct two new flyover ramps, replacing the existing cloverleaf design. TxDOT says 83,000 drivers squeeze their way through that interchange every day.
and it'll help to increase mobility and enhance safety for all the drivers in that area, over 83,000, as well as the freight travelers, because that is a heavy freight corridor and a critical one for our region.
No major closures are planned just yet as crews continue prep work. The project is worth $100 million and is expected to be completed in 2024. It's one of 4 transportation improvement projects ongoing in eastern Bexar County.
Sticking with traffic for a moment, let's take a live look outside with TransGuide, looking at Highway 281 in Bitters. No traffic trouble to report out there, but this is a spot when the rain comes and it does tend to flood in that area. Nothing to report there yet, but you can definitely see the rain is coming down there tonight. Still to come on the news at 6, the search for those unaccounted for continues following the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida. Many there still holding on to hope of finding anyone alive.
Plus, incredible video of a firework explosion at a neighborhood block party last night. Those stories and another look at storm chances next.
The search continues tonight for 117 people still unaccounted for in the Surfside condo collapse.
Yeah, today officials announcing search crews pulled 4 more bodies out of the rubble, one just now being announced. That death toll now at 28.
Isabel Rosales reports on the renewed hopes for progress after the planned demolition of what remained of the building.
Crews are sifting through the rubble again. The search momentarily paused Sunday night when what was left of Champlain Tower South demolished. Survivors had not been allowed back in. Valuables and priceless photographs lost inside their demolished condos.
To lose your home and all your belongings in this manner is a great loss.
But officials believe taking down the rest of the building would allow search crews to access more of the site safely.
As we speak, the teams are working on that part of the pile that was not accessible before the building was demolished. The standing structure also posed a threat to public health and safety, particularly as the storm approached.
Crews are not only fighting against unstable and dangerous conditions, but time.
I said to the families 2 days ago that the chances to find somebody alive is close to 0. I'm realistic, but we are still full of hope.
Meanwhile, turning to the investigation, experts have not yet determined an official cause of the disaster. But documents obtained by CNN shining new light into urgent conversations about the costly repairs the building needed in the months leading up to the collapse. One presentation to residents highlighted damage to the concrete in the garage from 40 years of water intrusion.
If we find out that this was entirely avoidable, which, because of action or inaction, it makes it just so much more acute and so important for us to act.
I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
As you can tell, that was not a planned fireworks show. Those are the sights and sounds of stacks of fireworks that were piled next to a rental truck, igniting and exploding during a 4th of July block party in Toledo, Ohio. The cell phone video was captured by a neighbor. It captures people screaming and running for cover as those fireworks shoot off in every direction. At one point, the rental truck, which was carrying those fireworks, even caught on fire. 4 people were hurt, but authorities say none of those injuries are life-threatening. It's still unknown right now what caused those fireworks to ignite. Yikes.
Yeah, that's not what you want. My goodness. It's a lot of fireworks going off. But, we were just talking about TransGuide. We're finally seeing some of that rain come down that you've been talking about. And it's nice to know that, if that happens here, we have the rain.
Yeah, at least we do have the rain. We've got a little bit of nature's fireworks going on with the rain, a little bit of lightning and thunder, but good soaking rain. And at least we have holiday commute on the roadway, so not as many vehicles as you would on a typical commute this time of day, but people are still on the roadways, and it's going to be a bit of an issue with the rainfall. We're looking west of San Antonio near Carrizo Springs, a few lingering downpours starting to fall apart around Valverde County, including Del Rio, and parts of Valverde County and Del Rio picked up over an inch really quickly. Actually, near Lake Amistad had over 2 inches of rainfall near the lake. Now we get closer to San Antonio here, Pleasanton, Poteet, some downpours, even down 35. Just southeast of Pearsall on the east side. of I-35. Some heavy rainfall with a little bit of lightning and thunder. But this has been the main batch that we've been watching, with the sky lit up on the north side of San Antonio, far north side, now on the west side. And this stretches all the way toward Medina Lake Reservoir, northward. A lot of Bandera County getting the action, up into Kerr County and Kerrville now seeing the activity. So let's just look at this. You see the lightning, obviously, which is starting to come. The lightning's starting to simmer down a little bit, an indication that some of this may be weakening. Nonetheless, non-severe thunderstorms. Yeah, they may be loud, but they don't have the wind or hail criteria to be severe. This is just very, very heavy rainfall, and we can talk about how heavy. Let me turn off all the other parameters, and let's just take a look at the heaviest of the rain, which is basically here on the west side of San Antonio, near SeaWorld, Highway 90, up around to about Bandera Road. And the latest readings here, at least estimates from the Doppler radar, in terms of the rainfall rate, you look at this purple area with that kind of brighter purple right there. That's some of the heaviest rain. I mean, we're talking 7.5 inches per hour being dropped around SeaWorld, including the Stevens High School area. In terms of what that actually means for overall accumulations, we'll take a look at the 12-hour radar estimates. So this does not include rainfall from yesterday. This is just the rainfall today and only over the past 12 hours. It's still raining on the west side of town there, but they've already tallied up nearly 2 inches of rainfall around SeaWorld. And remember, it's still coming down. But let's get into some of the neighborhoods here. Chavano Park, in particular, from Clark High School on into Chavano Park, you look at this yellow. This is just inside 1604, and that's over 2 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radar. So very quick accumulations in a short amount of time is what we saw here and what we still have ongoing. Everywhere you see the yellow on the map, that indicates radar estimates of about 2 to 3 inches of rain. So Bulverde, Leon Springs, over toward parts of Stone Oak, especially west of 281. And everywhere on the map where you see colors, that's where we've had rain over the past 12 hours. So pretty good coverage for us, but again, causing some issues on the roadways out there right now. And we do have some lingering showers elsewhere, even east of San Antonio. Not a whole lot, but a few are lingering east and southeast of town. All right, let's move on, talk about what's going to happen here the rest of this evening. A few lingering showers around 8, 9 o'clock. Most of it should start to wrap up after sunset. We'll give it a few hours, then mainly dry later on tonight. More opportunities for some heavy rain tomorrow, 60%. So fairly scattered to widespread. Wednesday, Thursday, still scattered. Friday into the weekend, yes, some activity, but not as much in terms of coverage. Here's our FutureCast. Don't pay close attention to the location of the rain. Just the mere fact that we get that early start tomorrow at 7 a.m. morning commute. There could be some slick spots, some damp spots, and of course some areas of heavy rainfall. Then off and on throughout the day tomorrow. So scattered in nature, widely separated, if you will. It's another way to put it. Downpours coming and going, developing and dissipating, splash and dash here and there throughout the day tomorrow. It's not going to rain at your location all day, but you have a pretty good chance of at least getting a quick downpour or two. Where we've had the rain, temperatures in the 70s. Feels nice outside. Tomorrow we'll start the day in the mid 70s, then make it into the mid 80s for the high temperature. And overall, with this active pattern, we're looking at highs only in the mid to upper 80s. Not bad for July.
Oh, it makes me a happy camper, that's for sure. Thank you, Adam.
All right, Greg, Trevor Lawrence has officially signed his first NFL contract.
Yeah, it stretched out here. He is the number one pick. He held out for a little bit more money. He got it when we come back here. The number one pick in the NFL signs today, so he'll be ready for training camp. And it looks like he's going to be the starter right out of the gate. And what are the Cowboys' top 5 camp priorities when we come back?
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The number one draft pick in the NFL has finally agreed to his first ever professional contract. That's after Trevor Lawrence signed a 5-year contract worth nearly $37 million, to just over $24 million of that in a signing bonus that will be paid out in 15 days. The 5th year is a team option. That's according to ESPN. Means the rookie quarterback is now set to join the Jacksonville Jaguars when they open training camp in 3 weeks. He's expected to be the starting quarterback after going 34-2 while at Clemson. The Dallas Cowboys kick off their training camp in California 2 weeks from tomorrow. And over the next 2 weeks, we'll be revealing the top 5 priorities the Cowboys will have as they return to Oxnard following a 6-10 finish. The health of Dak Prescott will be primary as he returns to the field for the first time since his horrific ankle injury against the Giants last October. Since then, he's worked himself back back just 7 months after 2 surgeries to repair the compound fracture and dislocation, telling us he has buried the ankle issue on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo and asked the media to help him put it behind him by stop asking about it. That said, all eyes will be on the franchise quarterback who signed a record 4-year, $160 million deal that included a record $66 million signing bonus and an average salary of $40 million a year. The Cowboys report to camp on July 20th, and KSAT 12 Sports will be there. The winningest coach in UCLA history, Terry Donahue, has passed away. Surrounded by his family, Donahue passed away at his home in Newport Beach following a 2-year battle with cancer, according to the school. Donahue coached the Bruins from 1976 to 1995 with 98 conference wins, which is still the most in Pac-12 history. He also became the first coach to win bowl games in 7 consecutive seasons, including 3 Rose Bowl victories. Terry Donahue leaves us at the age of 77. They're leading the Atlanta Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. The word interim has been lifted from head coach Nate McMillan and now has a new 4-year contract. McMillan took over for Lloyd Pierce in March, and after doing so, went 27-11, got the Hawks into the playoffs. That's where they beat the Knicks in 5 in the first round, followed by the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 games, and then falling to the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young suffered a bone bruise in his right foot when he stepped on the foot of a referee in Game 3, missing Games 4 and 5, struggled in Game 6, missing 13 of his 17 shot attempts. This is the 4th head coaching job for Nate in the NBA, with previous stints in Seattle Supersonics, Portland Trail Blazers, and Indiana Pacers. Round of 16 today at Wimbledon. Men's singles, top seeded Novak Djokovic cruised past Christian Garin and delivered this spectacular cross-court shot during a long rally in the second set. The Joker takes it 6-2, 6-4, 6-2. On the other side of the bracket, 8-time champion Roger Federer punched his ticket to the quarterfinals, a convincing 3-set victory over Lorenzo Sonego, 7-5, 6-4, 6-2. He's now the oldest Wimbledon quarterfinalist in the Open era at 39 years old. In women's singles, by the way, young American phenom Coco Gauff saw her run in today against Germany's Angelique Gerber. Gauff kept it close but could not pull out a set victory. She falls 6-4, 6-4. The quarterfinals will continue on Wednesday, and you can start signing up now for our golf tournament next month to support the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. More specifically, St. Vinny's Bistro at Haven for Hope that feeds the homeless and working poor Bexar County. Haney and Company is putting on the golf fundraiser on August the 23rd at the Quarry Golf Club. You can sign up by going to their website, haneycpas.com/golf. Looking forward to that after I get back from Cowboys camp, a little R&R on the golf course and doing some good.
Golf for a good cause.
You got it.
Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Well, as Adam's been telling us, there's been rain coming down around the area, and that is not happening without some power outages.
Yeah, here's a live look at the CPS outage map right now. There are 87 outages across the area affecting 9,640 customers. We will continue to keep an eye on this and update you as more information becomes available. But again, 9,600 people without power right now.
In other news, now to the fallout from that major ransomware attack. Thousands of companies impacted, many of them small businesses.
Yeah, cyber experts saying a Russian-backed hacking group is responsible. ABC's Alex Perche has the details from Washington.
It's already being called the single biggest global ransomware attack on record, and its full scope is still unknown. This afternoon, cybersecurity experts are working feverishly to stem its impact. So far, thousands of victims affected in at least 17 countries. Experts say hackers attacked through firms that remotely manage IT infrastructures. The U.S.-based IT management company KSAT, chief among them.
We just shut everything down. We've identified the issue. We're patching it. Experts say at least 1,000 companies that rely on KSAT for remote IT services have been paralyzed, mostly small to medium-sized businesses. In a joint statement, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security say they will reach out to identified victims to provide assistance based on an assessment of national risk. But the impact is well beyond the U.S. A Swedish grocery store chain reportedly had to close most of its 800 stores over the weekend because its cash registers were locked up in this attack.
This impacts our customers' livelihoods.
Security experts say a Russian-linked gang is behind this latest attack. Independent cyber experts point to an affiliate of the notorious RAINFALL gang, the same group that extorted millions from the meat processor JBS. The Russian government is denying any involvement in those attacks, and the Kremlin says it hasn't received an inquiry from the U.S. on this latest attack. President Biden, on the heels of his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, says he has instructed the U.S. intelligence community to investigate.
If it is either with the knowledge of and or a consequence of Russia, then I told Putin we will respond.
The FBI is urging companies affected to contact them, and RAINFALL offered a universal decryptor software key for all affected machines in exchange for $70 million in cryptocurrency. Alex Pache, ABC News, Washington.
As victims continue to be unaccounted for in the debris of the condo collapse in Florida, officials are sending out a warning about scammers setting up false charity sites hoping to profit off of the tragedy.
There are fraudulent GoFundMe accounts that are already popping up. We've already had some scammer who's developed some type of a non-for-profit out of New Jersey who has tried to create this opportunity to steal people's information, identity.
Now, to avoid scams, the Federal Trade Commission says to block unwanted calls and text messages, never give out personal or financial information in response to a request that you didn't expect, and to resist the pressure to act immediately. Legitimate businesses will give you time to make a decision, and before you give, you should talk to someone you trust first. It could help you realize whether or not you are dealing with a scammer. If you believe you've been a victim of fraud for the Surfside, Florida sites, you can report it to the authorities at fraudfreeflorida.com.
Making headlines around the world now, officials in the Philippines say everyone has now been accounted for in yesterday's deadly military plane crash. At least 50 people were killed, dozens more hurt after the Air Force plane crashed while attempting to land. 3 of the fatalities were people on the ground. The aircraft burst into flames after missing the runway and crashing into a nearby village. Video shows a large plume of smoke rising from the wreckage just moments after the crash. Eyewitnesses also told officials they saw several troops jump out of the plane before it hit the ground.
The owners and insurers of the container ship that blocked the Suez Canal in March have agreed to a settlement. The Ever Given container ship will be allowed to set sail on Wednesday. The Suez Canal Authority held the giant ship during the authorities' dispute for compensation. No details were given about that settlement. The authority originally demanded over $900 million for salvage efforts and lost revenue. It later lowered the request to $550 million. The Japanese-owned vessel became stuck in high winds and remained wedged across the canal for 6 days, disrupting global trade.
A new report putting numbers to an early pandemic problem. The CDC found sharp declines in breast and cervical cancer screenings, leading to concerns over how that'll affect health in the future. Mandy Gaither has a look at the numbers in today's Health Minute.
It's confirmation of what many doctors feared.
With less screenings, we're going to miss things.
In a new report, the CDC says in April 2020, the total number of breast cancer screenings through the agency's early detection program dropped by 87% and 84% for cervical cancer. That's compared with the previous 5-year averages for that month. Atlanta OBGYN Dr. Sujatha Reddy says these screenings are crucial to saving lives.
When we find cancer at an early stage, we have a much better chance of beating it.
The report also highlights another concern. Women in racial and ethnic minority groups who had low incomes and decreased access to medical services were especially impacted early in the pandemic.
With schools not opening, a lot of women had to stay home to take care of their children. Thereby, they couldn't enter the workforce.
Dr. Reddy says women who were already behind on screenings should make an appointment now.
We're taking every precaution to protect our patients. So it is absolutely safe and it's actually beneficial and good for you to resume those screenings.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says screening volumes had begun to recover in all groups by June 2020, the end of the observation period. But the agency is still encouraging doctors to minimize delays in testing by continuing those routine cancer screenings for women with symptoms or who are at high risk for breast or cervical cancer.
Still to come, the real heroes of commercial space flight testing are some real dummies. We'll introduce you.
Plus, childhood books from R.L. Stine come to life in a new film trilogy on Netflix. We've got the details in the buzz. Well, soon commercial space flight will become a full-blown reality.
But until then, some unsung heroes are braving the trials and errors of safety testing.
And as CNN correspondent Jeremy Roth reports, they're not even aware of the adventure they're about to take.
The commercial space race is on. Aerospace and tech companies have their eyes on the skies and are in the midst of testing to get their rockets safely in flight. But until those crucial safety tests are completed, you'd have to be a dummy to get on board. So let's meet the dummies that are working hard by sitting still while scientists and engineers break new boundaries. Mannequin Skywalker is leading the charge for Blue Origin, the space tech company owned by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. Skywalker has yet to visit a galaxy far away, but he has been to suborbital space and back. Bezos himself will be taking a similar test trip soon. Starman, SpaceX's Tesla-driving spacesuit-wearing test dummy, has been at it a bit longer. Since being jettisoned from a Falcon Heavy rocket's payload in 2018, Starman has traveled well over 1 billion miles, according to the tracking site whereisroadster.com. And then there's Rosie the Rocketeer, Boeing's anthropometric test passenger, who will soon make her second test flight to and from the International Space Station. Rosie is modeled after World War II's Rosie the Riveter, and the company says Rosie is a tribute to female pioneers everywhere. Considering it's passive passengers like these that feed back crucial data and bear the horrible brunt of trial and error, it's fair to say these plastic pioneers are the unsung, non-human heroes of spaceflight testing. I'm Jeremy Roth, reporting.
Live look outside with live cam. Looks like the clouds are moving past there. Still dropping some rain.
Yeah, some rain, especially on the west side of town and then into Medina County, Bandera County, Kerr County. We'll take a much closer look at the radar in just a moment. But I want to point out, if you missed out on the rain, any folks in downtown, parts of the south and east side, don't worry, we have more opportunities tomorrow. And really the rest of this week. It's just the opportunities will be more limited toward the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Tomorrow, I actually think we'll get an earlier start to the activity on the radar. We're going to talk more about it, and we'll take a look at how much rain has fallen coming right up.
Beautiful. In case you missed it last night, we wanted to give you another look at that explosive 4th of July fireworks show over our National Mall in D.C. This 17-minute display began at 9:09 Eastern Time and launched from both sides of the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. A Capitol 4th of July concert was pre-recorded before the fireworks flew in lieu of the traditional live concert on the west lawn of the Capitol. Hosted by Vanessa Williams and featuring the likes of Alan Jackson, Gladys Knight, and Jimmy Buffett, you can watch the show again on YouTube.
In today's buzz, fans who grew up reading the novels of R.L. Stine take note as a trilogy of films releasing this month based on the author's Fear Street books. Rick Damigella reports.
Shadyside, a history of horror, has earned it the nickname Killer Capital USA.
A town curse reaches across the centuries in the Netflix movie series Fear Street.
1666, Sarah Fear was hanged for witchcraft. Fact. But ever since she was executed, she's been possessing people, turning them into killers to take revenge on the town.
I think people are going to be really happy to see these movies. There are a lot of Fear Street fans out there. I feel like they're going to fall in love with this piece of Fear Street, this sort of story of Fear Street, for sure.
Fear Street is actually a trilogy, releasing over the course of 3 weeks and filmed back to back to back.
It was 106 days. And we shot the 90s, then the 1666, and then 1978. And it was a lot of night shoots, and it was incredible.
It's Shadyside. We're all cursed.
We shot in Atlanta, and so it was all in the greater metro area around Atlanta. A lot of our 90s sets, like the mall, the grocery store, were in Atlanta proper. Our village set was built about an hour and a half outside of Atlanta. And then the camp was also about an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, and it was rumored to be haunted.
You can't stop it.
Watching with the lights on in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, it is a beautiful picture out there. After, the last few times that we checked in, it was, a little rainy. And
yeah, not everybody getting the rain, Adam, but those who are, there are some flash flood warnings out there.
Yeah, for northern Bexar County and some parts of the northwest side of town, we've got a flash flood warning until 9 o'clock. Luckily, the rain has mostly come to an end in those parts of town, but you're still getting the drainage and some high water and some of the typical locations that have flooding issues. But you look off to the north, and we actually have a little bit of clearing there, just a little bit of clearing, little gap in the cloud cover right now, if you will. But look at the radar over the past hour, and you see the heavy activity north side of San Antonio, far north side, northern Bexar County, and then now basically moving its way westward into Medina County. Still some light rain, far eastern San Antonio and Bexar County along I-10 and parts of Guadalupe County, but that's very light in nature and not problematic on the roadways. Whereas Highway 90 west of 1604, this is some very heavy rainfall and not a good idea to be traveling between San Antonio, Castroville, and or Hondo. This is mostly pushing to the southwest and developing southward and dumping the very heavy rainfall around Bandera County. Even parts of Kerr County right now do have a flash flood warning in effect. We'll take a look at these warnings really quickly. And first one right here, just west of Kerrville, that green polygon, that's until 8:30 p.m. And then we have it right here, north and northwest side of San Antonio. This is until 9 p.m. as a result of the very heavy rainfall. I mean, we're talking 2 to 3 inches in parts of Bexar County and San Antonio very quickly from these showers and thunderstorms. So it didn't take much to cause the flash flooding, as is usual around here. It can happen very quickly. But let's talk about rainfall totals so far. And this is just over the past 12 hours. So this does not include yesterday's rain, which did fall in some of the same locations. But look at the yellow on the screen. That indicates between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall fallen. I looked at an actual rain gauge in Chavano Park, and it's at about 2.75 inches of rain. So definitely confirming what the radar is seeing. Canyon Lake between 2 to 3 inches. But I was looking at this earlier, and you zoom in far north side of town. I mean, we're talking the Rim, La Cantera, and especially into the Dominion. And look at this. Look at these. This is one of the real bullseyes here, just east of I-10 in terms of the Doppler radar estimates and how much rain has fallen. We're looking at over 3 to 3.5 inches estimated by the Doppler radar. Again, the yellow on the map indicates 2 inches or more of rainfall in all this area just in the past 12 hours, even near Poteet, Jourdanton, and just south of Pearsall. And still some light rain ongoing farther west of San Antonio right now. We're talking along the Rio Grande. Light rain, Valverde County, and some heavier pockets of rain in around parts of Carrizo Springs in Dimmitt County. That's where we need some rainfall still, so it's good to see that there. Otherwise, as we go through the next couple of hours, this activity is going to slowly come to an end. So by 8, 9 o'clock, mainly just some lingering showers out there, slowly fizzling out after sunset. By 10 o'clock, mostly cloudy, about a 20% chance. So highly isolated shower, then generally dry through the night tonight. Tomorrow, more widespread, periodic, sporadic downpours popping up and probably get an early start. We'll have the instability right off the bat. So 7 a.m. for the morning commute. I think there's the likelihood of some slick spots on the roadways due to the rain and some heavy downpours. Then here and there in nature, scattered in nature off and on throughout the day tomorrow, we'll have those hit or miss downpours. Let's talk temperature. 75 degrees. Some rain cooled air in place, that's for sure. Dew point is 73. You look at Laredo, 97. Obviously no rainfall in the vicinity of Laredo. Cotulla 95, but Del Rio with the light rain 76. This doesn't look like your typical July weather map unless, of course, you get the rain. And so most of us are in the 70s right now. Even where you didn't get much in terms of rainfall, you're getting the outflow and the cooler air caused by it. So Stinson at 80, Castroville, some heavy rain at 73 now. Tomorrow we'll start the day in the mid-70s, make it into the mid-80s, and those off and on hit or miss downpours with a little bit of lightning and thunder, so non-severe storms. More opportunities Wednesday and Thursday, and then still some activity expected Friday into the weekend, but it's going to be pretty limited. However, with this active pattern, we're not even looking at 90 degrees until early next week. How about that, Tim?
I like it.
Makes me a happy camper.
All right, in case you missed it, coming up right after this. Taking a look now at other stories we're following today. Right now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner is working to identify a person who died in a car fire this morning. San Antonio police found that vehicle in flames around 4 a.m. near Loop 1604 and Valero Way. Once the fire was put out, they found one person inside the vehicle. However, due to the damage, they could not determine whether it was a man or a woman or even what the make or model of that vehicle was. We now know the names of 3 men who died in a wrong-way crash yesterday morning. They have been identified as 33-year-old Jose Luna, 20-year-old Joel Terraquez, and 19-year-old Brian Solis. San Antonio police say Solis and Terraquez were fleeing a shooting scene near a downtown nightclub on Sunday morning. They hit Luna's SUV head-on at the McCullough exit ramp along I-35. No other injuries were reported. A hit-and-run driver is now facing charges thanks to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office and Converse Police. BCSO tells us the driver was arrested around 10 o'clock last night on Glenhaven Street. Right now, it's unclear where that crash happened or if anyone was hurt. We do know the driver resisted arrest but was eventually taken into custody. Another person also facing charges for a hit and run last night. This crash involving a man on a scooter. San Antonio police say the victim was leaving Market Square around midnight when someone in a sedan hit him and didn't stop to help. That victim suffered a broken leg and was taken to the hospital. The suspect was arrested about a block away and charged with failure to stop and render aid.
So here's a look at the radar over the past 3 hours. See how that heavy rain developed Comal County, Canyon Lake, and then pushed south and westward. Now it's Medina County, particularly central and northern Medina County, even all the way up into Bandera and Kerr counties, seeing the heavy rainfall. And we're actually getting a little bit of lightning and thunder in San Antonio, not far from downtown. So still some of this light to moderate rain just moving south of I-10, but lingering light showers there. This activity should gradually come to an end this evening, and then overnight generally dry. Tomorrow we're going to see more pop-up, off and on intermittent downpours here and there with a little earlier start during the day. So the morning commute could have some rainfall issues. And then the opportunities for rain become more isolated by the end of the week.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for watching. We'll see you back here for the night.